Hey there, y'all. Got a few vinyls and a small stack of CDs to show you, and my next latest vinyls and CD finds coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Risto here. Hope your new year is continuing to go well so far. We're a few weeks into 2025, and so far my year is starting off great. Pretty busy, but starting off good, so I can't complain. Listen, prior to the holidays or during the holidays, really starting back with Black Friday and through to Christmas, showed off a lot of new vinyl and CDs that I've either purchased on my own, gotten on the Black Friday sales, or was gifted over Christmas or bought on my own. So showing off a lot. There's been a lot of my latest vinyl and CDs videos over the last few months. So coming into the new year, things have slowed down a little bit. I have placed some pre-orders on some items that'll be coming up in the coming weeks and months. And I did have opportunity here over the last few weeks to pick up, in particular, some CDs on eBay from pretty much one band. And then just a couple of straggling vinyls that I thought I'd share about too. One that just came from Amazon and a couple others. So thought we'd take a look at those and get the new year off to a good start with the first latest vinyl and CD finds video of 2025. So let's get going. First up, we'll start with a vinyl. So let's take a look at this one here. I got Skillet Revolution, which this album I talked about somewhat extensively in my Album of the Year, 2024 Album of the Year video. So if you want a lot of details on it, go ahead and check that video out. But I had the CD in that one, and I mentioned, of course, that I haven't really followed Skillet a ton since the very beginning. I think I followed their first three albums a lot. Loved their kind of 90s grunge phase, and then kind of have listened to them over the years since. But when this new album came out late last year, I thought, I need to check them out again. I hear so much about them, and I haven't really listened to them much. So picked this album up on CD and loved it so much that it made my, the top 10, my albums of the year of 2024. So after getting that, sitting with the album a little bit longer, I thought I want to pick up a vinyl of that. So I did. Hopped on Amazon, I think it was, and picked up this one here, which this vinyl edition is actually really nice. This is a gatefold. I don't know if they have anything other than a gatefold, but this is a nice gatefold edition. Love that band photo there in the center. I actually also love just kind of the color scheme used on the graphics, the photos and graphics of this album. That kind of steel blue and muted red, and just kind of neat color palette being used here. It's got a very modern feel to it. But this vinyl edition here is actually a colored vinyl. Here's the insert with the photos, the sleeve, I guess I should say, insert sleeve. And this is a nice blue and black smoke vinyl edition that really looks nice. Again, ties in well with that blue color and the black on the album art itself. So really, really very cool edition. And this sounds good. Put it on the turntable the other night, and it sounds very, very good. So I'm a fan of this album. I know I've seen online some people commenting that this is not their favorite album. They I guess, wish for the glory days of Skillet. I don't know if that was the kind of the Awake album era or with a few albums shortly after that. But some people kind of disparaging this album. I like it. I think it sounds good. I think it's got a good, heavy, modern sound to it that I really like. But anyway, your taste may vary, but I found this a good addition and worth picking up the vinyl. So there you go, Skillet Revolution. All right, next up is another vinyl, Zion Thunder from the Mountain 2.0. Don't think I've shown this one before. This is actually a vinyl edition I picked up late last year, and I just don't think I've shown it in any of my Vinyl Finds video yet. I think I got this off of eBay. Pretty sure it was at a really good price. It was like free shipping and much lower price than what I've seen at a lot of the online Christian vendors, music vendors. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick this one up. It's been on my radar for a while. Zion's Thunder from the Mountain, which originally came out in, I don't remember, I don't have a year on here. I think it was the late 80s, maybe 89, something like that. It was not 2.0, it was the original album that came out. And now here back in 2019, they did a remastering job on the album and finally released it on CD and vinyl as Thunder from the Mountain 2.0. I like this album. It's got kind of a Scorpions vibe to it, I guess I would describe, especially that opening track, Who Pulls the Strings, which is just one of my favorite songs of all time. Love that. Love the sound of it. Love the hooks to it, the rhythm, the guitar work, the vocals. Just really, really cool. In fact, the first 3 songs on this album, Who Pulls the Strings, Kick in the Gates, and Is It a Crime, are kind of so strong that after that the album probably suffers a little bit because the first 3 tracks are just so great. But overall, it's still a really good album. It's pretty consistent as a whole. In fact, I think, is it The Big Fall on side 2, I believe it is. It's like a 6-minute track that's also really, really good. But it's just a great album. It's a shame they didn't do more music, especially after this 2019 release, that they didn't kind of, I don't know, reband and do some more. But I'm glad they at least took the opportunity to remix this album. This is a gatefold as well. Love the, by the way, this is redone cover art as well compared to the original. But love those dragon graphics. Got some band photos in here, some liner notes. This is a colored vinyl. Comes in a paper sleeve and is on this red and yellow or gold and orange, however you want to call it, mix vinyl, which is really, really cool. This was put out by Image Records, I should mention also, back in 2019. But this is a great album. Good, 80s rock, and I just love it. Maybe some borderline metal in here. But just good stuff. Zion was a cool band. Again, wish they'd lasted longer and done more albums. But Zion, Thunder from the Mountain 2.0, good stuff. All right, y'all, last of the vinyls I'll show you today is Philadelphia's 1985 album, Search and Destroy, their second album. I think I showed this one already in a previous Vinyl Finds video, but I mentioned I hadn't listened to it yet, and that hadn't really heard a whole lot of Philadelphia at that point. So I've had a chance to listen to this one now, and I really like it. This was I believe a remastered edition that came out in, let me see the date here, 2019 from Rox Records. This is a gold vinyl edition. I'll show you that in a minute. The cover art has been kind of revised or colorized, I guess you could say. I think the original was muted to make it safe for Christian record stores. But anyway, this is a really good album. One of the cool things about this, too, as I listened to it that I was not aware of, is it's kind of somewhat of a concept album. It follows a character by the name of Bobby, who's really only mentioned in 2 songs, but you can tell from other songs that take the point of view of the character that they're kind of interconnected, at least a little loosely, but and kind of follows his journey from abuse and getting into drugs and I think alcohol, and ultimately finds salvation over the course of 8 songs. So it's not even a really full 10-song album, but it's really cool. I didn't know it was kind of that stylized kind of concept type of album. So very, very cool. Good hard rock, again from a 1985 album. I really like the opening track, Search and Destroy is great. Judgment Day, I think, is pretty cool. Fast Track is interesting. Even the last track, Decision Time, is really cool. Some good stuff on here. I remember listening to their first album, I think it's To Tell the Truth, sometime back, and I wasn't that impressed with it. It kind of felt a little dated to me and just not terribly consistent. But listening to this one, absolutely love it. Great stuff. They do have a third album out as well called Warlord that was recorded much later than these first 2 albums were. I want to say it was maybe about the time that this remastered one was released, like 2019 or something like that. So it was much later recording in the band's career. But to my knowledge, they haven't released anything since that. And I haven't heard that one, so I'm not familiar with that. Here's my insert sheet, which has all the lyrics and also has a bunch of versions of the cover art. If you read down here in the notes, it says, "Special thanks to all the fans who submitted cover designs for this reissue. You are the reason we do this. Some of the runner-ups are pictured to the left." So I guess they had fans submit, cover art, their submissions for cover art for the album. And those were some of those that were submitted. The winning one, I assume, is the one that made it. There's also this on this side, which I'm not sure if this was something that was part of the original release or exactly what it looks like, something from back in the day. But anyway, really, really cool stuff. Philadelphia, which, by the way, that name Philadelphia comes from one of the churches in the Bible in the New Testament, not from the modern day Philadelphia city, by the way. So just kind of interesting note there. But Philadelphia, the band is Brian Clark, bass and vocals, Brian Martini, drums, Phil Scholing, I think is how it's pronounced, guitars, and Ron Flowers on guitars. But really cool release. Here's the gold vinyl. Kind of a dark gold, almost a caramel looking color, but really nice. Also just love the band photo here that's on the back, nice and large. Just really cool looking band photo of that time, the leather jackets and boots, and just a great hard rock look for this band. Also to note, the sides on this. Side 1 is Search, side 2 is Destroy. So again, following along with that kind of concept approach, I thought that was kind of neat. Side 1, Search, side 2, Destroy. Search and Destroy, Bobby's Song, Oh My Boy, Judgment Day. Then side Destroy is Mirror Man, Fast Track, Showdown, and Decision Time. Really great album. If you've never heard Philadelphia before, definitely start with Search and Destroy. All right, next we'll move on to this small stack of CDs that I have sitting here in front of me, all of which were purchased from eBay. I've mentioned in other videos too that I often frequent some of the kind of thrift storefronts on eBay, ones that where I can find some Christian rock CDs, usually older ones, most often. Anywhere from $4 to $6 a piece. Some of these are out of print. Some of them are just harder to find. Some of them they were just a ton of them back in the day, so they've got a number of them circulating out there still. But it's usually where people obviously have gotten rid of stuff from their collection. So the condition on them varies, but usually it's the cases that are either chipped or broken or what have you, cracked, whatever. However, in almost every case, I think there's only been a couple that I've found over the years where I've gotten a scratched CD or the booklet, has had water damage. But by and large, almost everything inside the case has been in very good condition. So I haven't had too many issues there with picking these up. And when you're spending $4 or $6 a piece, it's not such a big risk you're taking to see what condition you'll get. eBay lists them usually as good or very good. Sometimes they'll list them as acceptable, and I found most of those listed as acceptable often show up in very good condition. But some of the ones listed as good sometimes are not. So it just varies. But again, by and large, I've had really great luck on these purchases. So one of the bands that I've been eyeing for a long time, I've often had some of these very CDs in and out of my cart a lot over the last several years, has been the band Audio Adrenaline. Wanted to collect their back catalog for a long time. I was a fan of them in the 90s. I've had their, I think it was their third album, Bloom, for a very long time. It's one of their great albums. Really love that album. But I haven't had any of their other ones. Listened to them a lot on streaming online, but have not picked up the rest of the back catalog. And I'm like, they've got some really good 90s rock music. Some of it's rock pop, but mostly 90s rock, a little bit of grunge shades in some of it, but largely just kind of good, solid 90s rock, kind of the 90s version, I guess you could say, of a Petra or Whiteheart kind of. Always loved Audio Adrenaline. Got to see them live once and actually was running camera for some video workers doing some concert work for the band there on stage. So it was fun being able to actually film them and have Mark Stewart, the vocalist, come right up to the camera and stuff like that. So it was fun memories of that. But anyway, going back and getting the back catalog was something I had on my radar. So I thought I better do it before some of these prices start going up, and the CDs do become harder and harder to find. So starting with their first album here, Audio Adrenaline, from 1992. And this one's kind of like, I guess you could say, DC Talk's first album. Maybe not quite that bad, but it is a little more humorous in tone, a little more schmaltzier on some of the songs, some of the writing on some of the songs. But overall, a good effort. Kind of set the tone and style of music that Audio Adrenaline would pretty much follow for most of their career. But good first album. I've seen this one a lot. I've even seen this one in half-price bookstores and just haven't picked it up. But since I was on a mission on this particular purchase trip to pick up the Audio A, I thought, okay, I'll add that one to it. So there's their first album. Then I think they had Don't Censor Me, I think was their second one, which I think Girder has a reissued vinyl of that out right now, which I haven't picked up yet. It's on my list. Then I think was Bloom. I might have those two reversed as far as order. Then was Bloom, which is a lot of people's favorite Audio Adrenaline album, including mine. And Bloom really started this, the beginning of kind of a 3-album run that I think was probably their best run. So Bloom was followed by Some Kind of Zombie, which was this one? 97. Another great album, just very classic kind of 90s rock. A few little pop leanings in here. Not really any ballads per se that I recall. I just listened to this one actually on a road trip yesterday. This one's got My Chevette, great song. Title track, Some Kind of Zombie, another great song. Blitz, which is another very cool song, and Lighthouse, I think, which might be a little more of a mellower track actually, but really good album. And you can tell this one's cracked more. The case is broken back there, and inside, like this comes off. The tray, plastic holders there are broken, but the CD itself in great condition, and so is the booklet. So again, I think this one was $6. And if for $6, if I want to order another one and see if I can get the case in better shape, I can afford to do that. But good album. Love this one a lot. Hey y'all, just as I was getting ready to put this video to bed, I checked my email, and lo and behold, an email from Girder Music was there, which happened to list this very album, Audio Adrenaline, Some Kind of Zombie, being made available on vinyl for the first time, on a zombie green vinyl at that. Pre-orders are set to begin January 17th of 2025, and there are 300 copies that will be made. The first 75, it says, are of the pre-orders get a free alternate cover record flat. The album includes a bonus track mix as well. So anyway, just to make you all aware of that, it will be available through Girder Music. Head on over there. I'll put a link in the description down below. Pretty exciting news. I'll definitely be picking this one up for sure. Some Kind of Zombie, I think, was followed by Underdog, which that one I don't have. I couldn't find that one this particular trip, but it'll show up again, I'm sure, in this particular thrift store, as will Don't Censor Me, which I don't have that one either. I think there's there may be a third one I don't have yet, but or 4. I think there's 4 discs I don't have, but those are 2 of them. Then in 2000, they put out Lift, which this one kind of started to move them away from more of their kind of 90s rock sound into a little bit more praise and worshipy territory, although there's still a number of good kind of the traditional Audio A sound on here. They started to move into a little more praise and worship territory, which they also continued to follow with the next album, Until My Heart Caves In, I think, which that's one of them I don't have as well. This one I liked, though. I thought it had a good sound to it. Still retained enough of what made Audio A to give enough of a good rocking sound to it. So like this album, which they also had a DVD that came out with or in connection with this album, Lift, which has 3 music videos on it: Rejoice, Hands and Feet, and Ocean Floor, and 8 audio clips. So, and this actually came completely sealed. I've opened it up, of course, but completely sealed. So this was basically a brand new DVD. And this was like $4, something like that. So again, kind of nice to have them. I know most of this material you can find on YouTube, but I do like having my own physical copies of some of these things, which probably will never get remastered or never get re-released again. So this is the one shot at getting it if you can find them at a good price. Next up, also from 2001, was Audio Adrenaline's Hit Parade, which is a greatest hits collection. This one's actually really cool. Actually, all their greatest hits collections are best ofs that were put out. I've got another one here I'll show you in a minute. Had great songs, but also included at least 2 new tracks on them, 2 new songs. And that's the case here, where this collection covered everything across those 3 great albums I mentioned. Bloom, Some Kind of Zombie, and Underdog. So every song on here except the 2 new ones come from those albums. So this is a neat collection that there's a lot of great tunes on here. And the new ones are good too. The new one, the first track, Will Not Fade, I think is a really good, strong track. As far as I know, this is the only place you can get it on a physical CD. The other new one on here was One Like You, track number 16. And that one's pretty good too. I like that one. I definitely like the first track better, but they're both good additions and sound like classic Audio A. So good stuff. This CD is in great shape. I mean, the booklet's in great shape, CD's in great shape, the case is in great shape. Again, I think this one was probably $5 or $6. So another great one to add to the collection with original material on it as well. Also picked up 2003's Worldwide, which I have to admit I am just not very familiar with this one. This came after Left, obviously, so I'm assuming this one continued to kind of push into that praise and worship territory, which again they then continued on with that Until My Heart Caves In, which I don't remember the year on that one. That one, again, I don't have. But so I think this one kind of continued along that vein, but not real familiar with this one at all. I do see track 12 on here is Ocean Floor Radio Remix, and Ocean Floor was one of the more popular songs off that Lift album, that previous album I just showed. So anyway, look forward to listening to this one and getting to know it a little better. This CD also is in great shape. Booklet, case, CD, everything. Again, probably $5 or $6 for this one. Next up from 2006 is another greatest hits collection from Audio Adrenaline. This one called Adios. This was around the time where Mark Stewart, the vocalist for the band since the beginning, was having all sorts of vocal cord issues and had to finally just call it quits. So the band decided to, at that time, call it quits. And so that's the name of this greatest hits collection, Adios. This one has material, song selections from kind of throughout their career. So it wasn't just limited to those 3 albums that the last collection was. And it also, again, has some new material as well. Track number 4 is Goodbye, which is a new one, and also a later track on the album, Blaze of Glory, is a new one. So again, they'll put out these best of, greatest hits collections, but also include new material. Not familiar with those 2, as I have not heard them. So again, beyond all the regular tracks that I've heard on here, I'm looking forward to hearing those new ones too. And again, since this is from throughout their career, there's a lot more stuff from the later albums too, like Lift and Worldwide. So anyway, look forward to listening to this one. So after Mark Stewart's vocal issues and the band called it quits, they were pretty much done for a great number of years until 2013 an opportunity arose and they reformed for at least one album, but with a completely different lineup for this 2013 album here, Kings and Queens. This one featured, the only returning member was Will McGinnis, and then this one's famously known for featuring Kevin Max from DC Talk on it as well. I actually really like this album. I kind of wish this lineup had stayed together and been able to do more than just this single album, but it's actually really pretty good. Like the sound of it. Love the title song, Kings and Queens. I think that was a big radio hit on Christian radio for a while. But anyway, good album. I do like this one. And again, this one's in great shape. The band reformed again, I think 3, 4, 5 years later for another album, which I can't think of the name of it. Had Saints in the title, I think. But anyway, completely different lineup. I don't think there was anybody in that 4-band lineup that was from any other previous versions of the band, at least to my knowledge. I don't have that one either, but I'll probably go and search that one, just check it out, see what they're like. So probably missing about 4 albums yet from Audio Adrenaline. Confident I can find them all online at these thrift stores really inexpensively. All right, and last but not least, the last CD I picked up was this one here, the Walter Eugenes. I think it was their second album here, titled Beautiful. This is kind of a alternative indie rock, I guess, kind of sound to it. Walter Eugenes were named after, one guy was Walter, the other guy is Eugene. I'm not sure which is which, actually. But Eugene was, I think, part of DC Talk's band, or their on-stage band or show or something like that. So that's kind of, he got his start, and then he and Walter connected up and formed this band here. I think they had about 3 albums, roughly. And I remember this one, which was, again, I think their second album. This is from 95, from the song Crawl, the last track on here, which they had a music video out for that often played on ZTV, which was the kind of Christian MTV back in the day. So I remember seeing that music video a lot. They got kind of an interesting sound. Have to listen to them. It's been a while since I've heard them, but I thought, well, kind of cool. Hadn't seen this album for a while. Thought I'd pick it up, since this one actually was free, because some of these thrift store sites, you buy 2 things, you get a 3rd item for free. So I got a number of these Audio Adrenaline albums free, as well as this one too. So there you go. There's a quick peek at my latest vinyl and CD finds. It's going to get a little lighter here for a bit and wait for the pocketbook to recoup from from the holidays and start of the new year purchases and things like that. So, but there will be more stuff coming up ahead. I'm going to get back to my What's the Message series, looking at Jerusalem albums. I've got Warrior coming out soon, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So lots more to come. Y'all keep tuning in. Again, take a moment to subscribe if you aren't already. Would very much appreciate it. Anyway, that's all I got for today, y'all. Go out and listen to some great Christian rock. Make it some Zion today. How about that? Or Audio A, either one. And above all else, remember, stay in God's Word. Blessings, y'all. Have a great one. Bye-bye.